has an amazing Jeff. And with no Jeff here for them to rock, that's why they protect the Adam Warlock instead. But with the Captain America, with the Psylocke together, you already know the dive composition that VP like to rock out with when it comes to domination. As we get started with our finals day, our teams, they were excited, they were talking to us in the green room, and they are locked and loaded, Moxie.
FlyQuest going to be able to get their hands onto Energy's Hela, however, and that means that both the Hela and the Namor team up are going to be coming on through. And remember, they've got Cooper on the Mantis too, which means that we have 12% damage boosted Hela and Namor going off in every single fight in terms of that neutral play. VIRTUS.PRO going to be running the started.
It's interesting, the Hela, the Namor, SparkChief is going to be able to hang out on that group together with Cooper on the Mantis.
VIRTUS.PRO are going to be rotating, giving up the high ground so they can make a faster position over to that point. Means that FlyQuest lose the opportunity to set themselves up some of these buffer angles, but they do still have the long-range distance with both the Hela and Namor. VIRTUS.PRO have to pay respect to it, and they've got to wrap around these longer rotations to keep themselves out of line of sight and close up the distance. Finnsi picks up first blood, and FlyQuest lose a player.
And multi-title Dirge too, and having that anti-heal, and with the trade-off with Cooper going down, that means you have no BRB. You follow up together with Zelos trying to boost into that eternal bond, and together with VP looking around, it is Vest who has control over the point first alongside the Vanguard lineup of FlyQuest. Before you try to dive in, Zelos gets isolated. The BRB brings him right back, and with Energy finding Finnsi, the number advantage takes the 5, goes in favor for VP.
Brilliant reposition from SparkR, being hit by that Soul Drain, and gets to dash back to his team and out of the follow-up damage coming on through from Energy's end. So he's still up and alive until now. He gets picked, but it's a little bit too far away from the point itself, which means that VIRTUS.PRO still have this objective control. And FlyQuest, we're going to be seeing a couple of swaps coming on through potentially here, as this Hela and Namor is so strong at the beginning of these rounds when you have those angles, but when you have to play into the retake, VIRTUS.PRO can just apply pressure and disengage.
With SparkR having the dance of butterflies, and you have Sypeh close to that invisible boundary. VP just looks so good already with this first initial fight, Moxie. Talk about the ult economy, and Nevix coming out on the Angela. You talk about that disruption here too, and that's something to note with Vision having that whale, and he wants to put everybody in the grotto as a dance of butterflies with SparkR jumping up from the high ground. Finnsi to get the follow-up to stop Energy. A lot of pressure going up to SparkR as he cannot get away. It is Vez getting SparkR here. Diving down is going to be Nevix, and he wants to try to get the follow-up, but Vision tries to stop VP on their exit.
Venn diagram of Heaven's Retribution covered by Horn of Proteus for FlyQuest to punish VIRTUS.PRO's use of the Angela ultimate, but the Karmic Revival is on the field, and so too are VIRTUS.PRO's players. Invisible boundary onto the objective as well off of that rest position means the FlyQuest are all stalled up. It falls to Cooper with the Eternal Bomb to come on through and save the team.
Look at Vez here, and SparkChief is going to be able to have that freedom charge. It's to help the survivability after that Eternal Bond goes out eventually, with Energy being on the Hela to get the 3K. They wipe out VP, and they finally flip this point because currently VP are already at 94%.
VIRTUS.PRO could play fast here for the retake with that Galactic Legend. However, that's what FlyQuest are going to want. Vez with the Meteor M will be able to absorb it entirely, allowing SparkChief to hold on to this freedom charge for when they need to use it to stall at some of these more aggressive plays. At the moment, you have to keep your eye on Energy. This Hela set up on that angle. VIRTUS.PRO want to punish, get on top of her as quickly as possible before she can catch someone in a rotation. The freedom charge comes on through. It's actually not going to be the Galactic Legend, and that means that Vez has to hold the Meteor M too.
And it forces them to back away, trying to rally up the troop, trying to rally up the Avengers, but instead now they're met with a Galactic Legend from Fi. He tries to wrap up right behind FlyQuest, but Energy, he has not been stopped. The Young Gun Legend has now found 2 as SparkR. He gets to trade up, he finds Vez, but without Nevix here, they're going to have to back away at the same time. He will have the dance of butterflies going to the next fight. As he gets the replenish, he gets Energy, but still, VP need to regroup together because FlyQuest win another team fight.
VIRTUS.PRO were able to get the exit trade, however, onto Energy. The Rocket BRB does not get to bring the Hela back, which means that Energy is not in a good position currently on the angle to punish VIRTUS.PRO. In fact, he's entirely split for the team, something that Nevix tries to take full advantage of with the Angela looking to dive onto the Duelist, but Vez has the peel angle, and we go into a Heaven's Retribution just to hit the back line. Tidal Dirge covers it, and it means that VIRTUS.PRO have to rely on range, something that Dridro's got in spades. Goddess of Death comes on through on the side of Energy. VIRTUS.PRO trying to sustain through with the invisible FlyQuest numbers.
And they do it successfully too, right? Sypeh with the timing on that invisible boundary helps them out, prevents the Goddess of Death from getting the space that it wants. It also forces out energy to make the swap. As the swap over from the point allows VP to take control as Nevix gets a shish kebab onto Zelos.
No Loki though, it was Bandai, which means no regentiment or doppelgangers to absorb the damages from the Dance of the Butterflies. It's all about the heals per second of that eternal bond. VIRTUS.PRO disengage, but they lose Sypeh. dridro brings them back just at the tail end of the Comic Revival, and VIRTUS.PRO still have full numbers on the point.
Vez taking a quick trip down below and under as Finnsi now comes in with a freedom charge. Everything utilized, and it is tied up with 99% compared. That's of 96. But FlyQuest are looking to flip the point with the Galactic Legend coming out. The Eye Nagamoto, it's by Nevix. They need some follow-up though. They need the sustainability. Look at energy. He's about to get the Kraken impact. But Fly, after finding two, will they even have the time and opportunity as Sypeh will hold on to this invisible boundary for the next round two?
Doctor Strange portal's already done. It's just about cleaning off of Vez on the Venom, and VIRTUS.PRO will be able to walk away with the overtime push on Warrior Falls. There was some really smart objective first before the Hela and Nemo have that angle so they can apply the pressure with the dive, but it looks like we're still going to be seeing Nevix on the Venom and Finnsi on the Captain America. The double Vanguard's creating so much space for both the Star-Lord and the Psylocke to follow up, but also creating that buffer for the Atom to stay safe all the way out of these fights.
The legendary strategist Sypeh here does have that invisible boundary, and I like the positioning that we're currently seeing. Although strategist backline as SparkR comes up from the ground and is able to follow up with Finnsi. They find three onto FlyQuest and a dominating takeover from VP to take this point first.
New round as well means that dridro has had that extension of a cooldown for that regenerative cocoon, which means for FlyQuest, who do you really look at on this composition to be able to get on top of that Atom and force the elimination early? What's it going to be? Energy's going to be over onto that Winter Soldier, having the things like Bionic Hook to be able to put a stop to SparkR's momentum on the Psylocke, but that's still not going to give you an in to be able to try and find this pick onto dridro first.
They need to make these swaps here. I do like it. As Energy still now going to be able to try to make some moves happen off the Buckies. Landing those shots when we saw him off the Hela, but you have to pinpoint where dridro's location is. We're taking the battle, though, over to the side room. They try to get the hook at the same time, prevent this Captain America from running away. But again, all eyes on dridro and Sypeh with that sustainability. It is Zelos who starts the fight with the Sia as Vez now moves up. He's got the Meteor M. He's going to look for Sypeh at the same time. If he could try to pinpoint this, or maybe prioritize dridro instead, as the stun comes out. Sypeh falling incredibly low as Energy is going to be able to find this follow-up.
Here comes dridro. Does Energy have the follow-up? We've got the Kraken impact, but he's just not going for it at the moment. Freedom charge comes on through from Finnsi, so VIRTUS.PRO stabilized off of the revive. Get to just keep wearing away at FlyQuest players, and it was a bait. SparkR gets all of the setup and all of the partners you could ask for. FlyQuest fall just beneath the Psylocke's blade with Dance of the Butterflies.
And Vision couldn't pop that passive too, right? Yes, he was so close to getting that Karmic Revival, but again, as you've noticed with VP, they know exactly where that Atom Warlock is, something that FlyQuest need to keep doing when it comes to dridro, who's been getting so much out of that Karmic Revival from the first round.
Well, FlyQuest have to get a lot in terms of momentum out of this Solar Resurgence coming on through from Cooper. They have something to walk forward onto the point as we head into an objective fight. And VIRTUS.PRO, they're just going to continue applying that pressure, try and force out some of these ultimates before we see the brawl point on the fight.
They're nearing 97% though. It's all or nothing as FlyQuest. They have everything in the bank with these ultimates, but it can't be so expensive to cycle through them as the Wombo combo comes out. He gets the reset, a nice snap put onto Nevix. Dates to that sedation as he gets the follow-up together with Cooper. They find SparkR and VP forced to retreat here. They don't want to stagger at the same time. They'll give this space over to FlyQuest because they'll just wait out on the Kraken impact.
Yeah, dridro does not have the Karmic Revival, but like you said, VIRTUS.PRO, they have so much time, so much point percentage that allows them this luxury of being able to wait. In comparison, FlyQuest do not have any of it. If they lose this fight, someone's immediately got to swap over to the Strange and portal these players back. Otherwise, overtime ends immediately. Out comes the Galactic Legend. FlyQuest going to actually be trying to just disengage it until now. The Meteor M absorbs as much as it possibly can, allows FlyQuest to better reposition into the open space against this dive. Soul Resurgence is there. Beast of the Abyss comes through first from Nevix. It's not overlapped by Spark. SparkR's damage though, so the eliminations from VIRTUS.PRO only now attempt to come through.
And with the Dance of the Butterflies, with some help with Sypeh and the invisible boundary, trying to force out those ultimates, you only have Vision, who needs to stay alive, play into this win con to help enable energy. As he gets taken down here, looking onto the other side, he's got that BRB, as dridro drops down below in the middle console, born again, as they hear, FLY comes right back around, and now the number advantage, a huge stun onto Nevix and SparkR, as Finnsi pops off.
SparkR pops off too, finds the elimination that VIRTUS.PRO needed. Vision is down, and we get to see the after image as the Atom tries to find a safe location to find the res for that Comic Revival cast. Strangling Prisoner, cracking impact, sound off again, and again, and again. And Energy might have done enough to bring his team back. VIRTUS.PRO though still have the eliminations, stopped Vision from being able to commit the Comic Revival the entire fight. And VIRTUS.PRO sweep burn into
They want to go in together with the Strangling Prison and the Kraken Impact, except
these stats, I mean, SparkR doing as much damage as we expected coming on through here with this pro Psylocke for SparkR is going to be hampered somewhat by that last ban coming through onto the Lunar Snow. It means that you're not going to be able to have the Idol Aura to apply onto the Psylocke and send it out of line of sight entirely. However, something to note as well is that VIRTUS.PRO with this target ban on the Strategists have also gone after the Invis Women, so no more 2-2-2 Strategist lineups, but that's also going to have an impact now onto Energy's performance on the Phoenix, as whenever we've seen him on that Phoenix, it's always with a Guardian Shield in front of him. Whenever he wants to play aggressively forward on that Terracotta Shrine rooftop, there's a Guardian Shield there. Is he going to be able to get away with those same aggressive angle positions to punish VIRTUS.PRO's rotations? We'll have to see as we can get a look at the
map here on Heart of Heaven. We roll out for our second map after VP take that first one, already coming off the rip. dridro trying to take a nice little angle here, trying to get some more of these headshots, putting that damage output here together, but that will also boost into Cooper and the Strategist ultimate economy of FlyQuest.
You can tell as well that Zelos doesn't quite know when that dive is going to hit, as he keeps swapping between the cloak and the dagger form in case he needs to come on through with a Terra Cape onto a diving Vanguard, as VIRTUS.PRO have already been able to gain a little bit of a foothold onto that objective, just off of being able to pressure out the Phoenix. But SparkChief does answer back with a peel onto SparkR, who somehow, someway was already almost 80% to his first ultimate. And I say somehow, someway, it's because there's a Groot in play from FlyQuest's team, which means that the Psylocke's rotations is going to pivot entirely from trying to find those dive openings to just farming off of the Vanguard, building up ultimate, and dropping into FlyQuest back line.
And getting it so fast, right, with that damage output. Take a look as he jumps up into the ground, coming in from the heavens to get the Dance of the Butterfly, as well as a follow-up from Finnsi here. But Energy, he shuts down FLY as VP. They have that number of advantage with Sypeh also having the invisible boundary. You talk about having that sustainability. All eyes on Vision to boost into this Karmic Revival as SparkChief brings everybody together with that Groot hug. Finnsi to get the next one as he finds Vision next. He has to back away because he already used up that passive. He doesn't have that Karmic Revival.
Yeah, doesn't have the regen. Cocoon doesn't manage to come on through with that Karmic Revival cast. And FlyQuest, it's got to be a Strange Portal instead. They've got a wombo combo. They do have Ensong and Meteor M, but VIRTUS.PRO are just going to be able to sustain it with the numbers granted by the Karmic Revival cast on dridro. Sedation falls onto the Atom. FlyQuest trying to find the pick. Heaven's Retribution gets dodged by Energy with that Ensong Inferno, and here's Vez looking for the slam down into the backline, but we get to hear a Karmic Revival cast, and that means that FLY is brought all the way back into the fight.
Safely behind the fog here too. dridro brings them back, and the lawyer is taking everybody to court as FLY, being on the Daredevil, is looking to brawl it out, send everybody to let the devil out eventually. But the Born Again from Vision, this is what they're waiting for as FLY lets them go forward. He found three originally as he comes in. The shish kebab, SparkR to follow up to shut down the Karmic Revival.
The problem for FlyQuest, yes, they managed to get the Karmic Revival off, but it was off point.
Yep.
And it was one tick left that VIRTUS.PRO needed because of that Strange Portal force from FlyQuest's end. So they just sweep. They used all of their ultimates, force FlyQuest into running the Karmic Revival off of the point, and boom, we head into second with FlyQuest down the Atom ultimate, and dridro going to be hitting it first. Zelos does have that Eternal Bond for FlyQuest to invade into Sypeh's position. As we can see, VIRTUS.PRO still pushing, poking, prodding away at all of these angles for energy not to get any setup. He's off of the Phoenix onto the Bucky because he has to find some way of stalling out VIRTUS.PRO's momentum.
What are you talking about that verticality too? Very awkward as Sypeh puts down the invisible boundary ahead of him to help out VP inside this cave. It's the matchup of Zelos and the Eternal Bomb, but look at Nevix. He's on the hunt as he's looking to go into the backline. Heaven's Retribution as he jumps in, but is there a follow-up as Finnsi will close to get that freedom charge together with SparkR, but Fi, the Daredevil, he's found two more, and FlyQuest, even with Cooper having that Mantis ultimate with the Soul Resurgence, can't bring everybody together.
FlyQuest's ultimate economy is being forced to have to react to VIRTUS.PRO's aggression, which means that they have nothing but bodies in the way of SparkR's Dance of the Butterflies, and it's just a game of stall at the moment, putting themselves onto the objective and trying to prevent VIRTUS.PRO from picking up as much distance as possible. As we're going to be seeing energy move over to the Hela, we are going to be heading into some of these more open and longer line of sights coming on through for the Hela. Vision moving over to the Namor as well. This is full pick potential where you get to ignore the ultimate economy in VIRTUS.PRO's favor.
I mean, it's back to the drawing board for FlyQuest. They keep changing because what they're rolling out with is just not working. They are losing every game fight. Yeah, the invisible boundary right up ahead again, but energy does manage to find SparkR in the process. Look at SparkChief, who had also rolled out there together on the Venom as they get the follow-up here together, but the Born again radiates as a chorus as dridro brings back Fi and SparkR. Finnsi's gonna be able to follow up right afterwards as FlyQuest, sure, all this hard work is here. They're finding these pigs, but with this Karmic Revival, it's hard to be the nail in the coffin.
What an assassin's charge from Nevix, being able to find both vision and energy and take them out of the fight until now. Both do have verticality with their abilities and get themselves back into their position for the Horn of Proteus. FlyQuest say, call an ambulance, but not for me. And VIRTUS.PRO are sent all the way back to the respawn point. And this, Vicky, is where we're going to get to see the Hela and Namor truly come into its own. For VIRTUS.PRO, it's all about SparkR getting in on March with the Dance of the Butterflies.
Don't ever forget about the vision no more as energy finds dridro next. He's got that cocoon though, so he'll be able to come right back around, but FlyQuest together with that will. Gotta look out for it in the future because VP come in. They find Vez too, as it's gonna be the Heaven's Retribution just diving in, and Fi gonna be able to find energy next. Sure, you have that BRB, but all the sustainability in favor for VP.
Face of the Abyss comes on through from SparkChief, but the follow-up damage just isn't enough to tip the tide of heals done by the invis boundary. And speaking about tipping the tide, SparkR might be turning it for VIRTUS.PRO here. Energy's goddess of death though. There's nothing to prevent it. It's just sustainability with the freedom charge, but you're eating all of the AoE damage. And SparkR pokes his head out above the parapet a little bit too overconfident. Gets taken down, and VIRTUS.PRO, they're down to almost 20 seconds. They've got to fully regroup, otherwise they don't get another shot at this fight.
Tip the cap here, Vez. He gets it point blank up in the air with a Meteor M, and it's Peekaboo 2 with the Goddess of Death from the hands of energy. As you take a look at what we have here, less than 5 seconds on the clock before they are forced to recontest, but dridro does have that Karmic Revival.
He's playing as safe as he possibly can. FlyQuest want to make that position dangerous. Overtime means that the Atom's going to be isolated. VIRTUS.PRO have to split their players. The Venom is pushing fully into that backline. Horn of Proteus catches on through onto VIRTUS.PRO, trying to push onto FlyQuest. And we get a peel opportunity. Now VIRTUS.PRO get to answer on back. Fi moving on forward with the Daredevil, gets taken down by energy, but dridro's been able to find Vez. BRB brings one back, but VIRTUS.PRO have the Karmic Revival and get to bring back so many more.
And they try to get the face of the Abyss to a SparkChief needs some help. The Born again, but it's a sustainability. The strategist from VP look too strong. The Eternal Bond, but they've lost out on the Vanguards. If you're FlyQuest, overtime taken away as VP are clearing this point.
Heaven's Retribution paired with Freedom Charge. We've still got SparkR's Dance of the Butterflies, and FlyQuest don't have the Cosmic Yawn Amplifier anymore. VIRTUS.PRO wave a hand farewell to FlyQuest's presence, and that should be them continuing in the heart of heaven by the skin of their teeth. They managed to break through second, and we head to third with a time bank replenish.
VP is saying we'll give you a little room to breathe, but don't forget we get this next checkpoint. Now we get to see the swap off though here, Moxie, as Fi goes over to the Hela.
Many people have said SparkR versus Energy, but Fi is one of the best Hellas all the way back in Season 0. We're getting the duel between the two. Energy does have Goddess of Death. VIRTUS.PRO are going to have to pay respect to it. Moving around this corner too, when you don't control that space, when you've got the Hela and Namel continuing to breathe into every single angle for the attacker's side is so difficult, which is why Nevix is just sweeping through on the Angela, playing full disruption, allowing dridro to find the pick up to 1, make it a second. This Adam is on an absolute tear.
This is actually insane. The bunny hop into finding these shots, into dealing the damage, the terror cape, but for what? When there's nobody to follow up from FlyQuest. VP, they clear them out in the neutral.
They've got Karmic Revival, they've got Regenerative Cocoon, and SparkR is already posted up to punish if FlyQuest split their players and try and push aggressively onto this Adam. Dance of the Butterflies, no strategist ultimate other than the Cosmic Yawn Amplifier to shut it down.
Look how cheeky SparkR's positioning is too, by the way. Right there, through the miss, is going to be able to take some shots, but SparkChief is going to be able to dive down onto dridro, but pinpoint where dridro is, because he has that Karmic Revival, he has that Cocoon, as he's going to be able to come in with the passive survivability of the Freedom Charge, and with energy going down, no Goddess of Death, but Vision, the sounding of the 7th trumpet, comes in to find 2, and just like that, off the board again, they come back again.
But VIRTUS.PRO still have players on the objective, so they're going to be able to reposition off of the res onto the point. Sypeh with the invisible boundary forces SparkChief to have to reposition fully, and it comes down to FlyQuest having to play this next part perfectly. Vision gets picked late, Energy out of spawn uses Goddess of Death, but that means that he's not on the objective. Someone has to get through, but VIRTUS.PRO have managed to push them out with the
Finnsi, he's gone down fully once off the Captain America as we move up here together up on the high ground.
FlyQuest with that Hela Namor needing the angle, which forces the strange portal, but a great force physics from Sypeh displaces them immediately, forcing the drop out of sync, allowing VIRTUS.PRO to start hammering that damage on through. They've taken cover fully behind these buildings too, which means it's up to Vez to try and flush them out into the Hela and Namor's positions.
55 healing per body shot with that rocket together, but the push in as SparkChief finally comes in with the Angela after making that swap. You have the BRB, but it's set up over to the side, and look at this pressure as VP make a FlyQuest sandwich around them, but it's a trade-off as Vez, he's waking up with some family buffs in the crowd. He's found 2, but it's the passive coming up from dridro to bring him back.
Those eliminations though, FlyQuest are adding to their numbers with the Monstro spawns. However, VIRTUS.PRO do have the target focus and will start pushing some of these players from FlyQuest. Speaking about pushing, look before you leap. Nevix takes Vez off of the map, and FlyQuest, they got the Cosmic Yawn Amplifier up so quickly. VIRTUS.PRO are able to sustain through it without giving up a single bit of point.
Man, I'm always entertained whenever I see Nevix and this Angela. It's perfect here for this beginning point on Heart of Heaven, and Fi 2 being on that Daredevil.
We got to start putting up the caution tape around those edges. We have to start putting up the caution tape around SparkR's ultimate. FlyQuest weren't ready for it. In fact, they got caught mid-dash of Eternal Bond. SparkR cancels out the Cloak and Dagger ultimate, and FlyQuest yet again denied.
They said, what, Title Dirge? What were you trying to roll out here with the Hela and Namor? No Eternal Bond, and shutting down that strategist ultimate now with less than 2 minutes on the clock. Look at Fi's positioning, though. He is waiting in the fog, and Nevix, too, over on the other side. You know what he's looking for. Heaven's Retribution together to get the follow-up. It's another anti-heal, but it's Finnsi to lead the way with a Freedom Charge as SparkR finds Vision again.
Not Retribution at the moment, just Descent. Nevix with the axes, cleaving through FlyQuest players, and enough is enough. They've seen Hela Namor isn't working. They're not getting the space. VIRTUS.PRO continue putting the pressure every single time they try and move forward. You've got to go over to the Winter Soldier, who's going to be able to try and find those slowdowns, those hooks onto these players from the side of VIRTUS.PRO, but you don't have the Kraken Impact. You don't have any way of forcing them into the Kraken Impact once you've built it up either, which means that VIRTUS.PRO, with all of these ultimates, should be able to cycle them one by one, fight by fight into overtime.
It's the way that they're just hiding in the corners. They're playing so separated, as now it's finally called in as the Heaven's Retribution comes in, and you could see it's not going to be Heaven's Descent. It could be Heaven's or Hell's Descent as Zelos gets the BRB, tries to bring them back, but look at dridro. He's got the passive, and even though we see some of these trades with VP having the number advantage, they may even hold on to this because FlyQuest, nobody's there to stop VP.
Yeah, dridro, like you said, not going to be committing that passive. We'll be holding on to that precious cooldown, and oh, FlyQuest, that is mean. The stagger pick coming through onto Cooper, who, by the way, has the ultimate. FlyQuest are going to be relying on yet again, which means that dridro, the slow walk back for the Atom is entirely erased. He's going to be in position, set up entirely away from FlyQuest's presence with the Karmic Revival cast. SparkR, though, he's not away. He's directly in position to drop down the dance for the butterflies.
Right now, in terms of win condition, you have to catch SparkR, who's going to jump on top of your heads with the dance of butterflies. A nice stun, but Cooper's got that eternal bomb, but they're going to wait on it because Vision, with that Mantis, has a soul resurgence on top of it. They get put into position, but they're going to look like chameleons with the way that VP are playing so split up. They still need to pinpoint where dridro is because he's still alive as the Karmic Revival comes back.
The Kraken, no! It's blocked by roof of the building that dridro is in. Rock, paper, scissors, rock beats Bucky, apparently. And VIRTUS.PRO from the back of that safely re-engage with the full Karmic Revival cast. Heaven's Retribution, FlyQuest not an ultimate to be able to answer it. And that is going to be an overtime burnout. We went from the two extremes. A full hero that they could play at the best level, but many, and for Fi, the one that he was most identified with was the Hela. There was a discussion, a debate going down with all of the EMEA players.
And Warlock to prevent those extra long holds on this convoy map.
Yeah, triple shredded is incredibly strong. It makes sense for both teams to focus on that. VP sort of taking a book at a Chopper Mags sort of playbook where they just go for those shredded bands, but it's interesting they didn't go for the Rocket Raccoon, instead going for that Loki. I mean, FlyQuest do prioritize that hero, but on the opposite side, it's going to be interesting because we still have that Rocket going through for both teams. Rocket, we know on Convoy is so strong because you can set up that BRB location in a safe spot.
Vanguard that we see banned out because it puts so much more pressure on the triple Vanguard hold, which FlyQuest are going to be looking to use to stall out VIRTUS.PRO's momentum. That goddess boost, though, coming on through from Fire on the Storm is going to mean that SparkR is doing so much work at being able to melt those Vanguard hero hubs down.
And with FlyQuest starting things off too on the defense, I'm worried with Nevix and this group, man. I mean, this is the pride and true feeling right at home together with the Emma Frost as Finnsi rolls out together. Also with Fi already building into that Omega Hurricane. But you talk about the choke slam, the Emma v Emma fight as we get to see that first pick.
Yeah, Vez just can't really hold his position on the front line either because VIRTUS.PRO are just moving aggressively forward with the Storm and the Punisher. FlyQuest have to disengage around the damage boost tempo and drop something like that Invis boundary when VIRTUS.PRO try to push corner, but that now means that they do not have invisible boundary to heal through this final judgment coming through from VIRTUS.PRO's end, and they don't have the Meteor M to absorb it too.
So we see Spark rolling out here on this Thor, and Vision does have a BRB, but everybody gets grouped up together as the wombo combo attempt comes out, but it fails to hit its mark. The Eternal Bomb together as energy comes up, but the Meteor M fails to land here as they try to get the protect as SparkR gets enabled. dridro with the Sharknado. Everybody groups up together. It's a Cap 5. Sypeh falling low, but still survives as Fi. He finds the double Vanguard from FlyQuest.
Jeff Nado, VIRTUS.PRO taking a page out of the EMEA Comrades book. Citadel, eat your heart out. FlyQuest now have energy over to that Doctor Strange looking for that portal for the recontest play. It is going to be Psionic into Psionic, both of these Emmas with the ultimates up, but it looks like it's going to be both of them popping at the exact same time. The Groot Wall from Nevix, though, isolates out FlyQuest players, and they're able to find Vez alone.
So the seduction bringing everybody together from both sides. It's a sandwich here, but take a look at the ult economy. Cooper, he's got that invisible boundary, but it is not online fast enough to help out energy. He puts it up to keep this fight going, and with Nevix going down, it's a trade-off from the Vanguards here as FlyQuest and SparkChief together with Vision, who will have that see ya. It's important because look at SparkR together with that final judgment.
Yeah, Cooper just using the invisible boundary to try and slow down VIRTUS.PRO, grab a player on that disengagement because there is no point holding it against the Storm and Jeff's combination. Speaking of which, here we go. The forecaster Storm with a chance of picks against FlyQuest players. Jeff Nado is on the field and VIRTUS.PRO continue moving forward.
when you have no sustainability in that moment, sure, they shut it down at the very end. Cute but deadly from dridro. As Nevix, they bring them together, but it's the Beast of the Abyss to try to get the anti-heal. But with Sypeh having that invisible boundary, they're able to get healed up, but at the very least, they do find SparkR, who is not able to use that final judgment.
Vez coming back on the Captain America because FlyQuest already burned the Doctor Strange portal. Energy does have an opener here with that Galactic Legend. Zelos moving over to the Luna 2 should be able to provide the idle aura for the sustainability to live this ultimate. And there it is, Galactic Legend to open up the space, but he doesn't get LOS onto his Luna in time. SparkR just melts him down, doesn't even need to burn the final judgment. And VIRTUS.PRO will have that ultimate to continue moving on forward into this next fight.
Jeff, you see the golden Jeff 5K Labubu in the hands of the Emma Frost, but now with some change-ups here. Nevix on the Angela, Finnsi back onto the Captain America for the second segment of Yggdrasil.
SparkR too, he moves off of the Punisher so that he can save 50% to that Galactic Legend, and now force Cooper's hand into having to hold on to the invisible boundary, or there's the Meteor M.
Same thing here with Energy being on that Bucky. Keep an eye together with Vision being on that Namor, but it's looking like Energy trying to halt this momentum. But looking at the backline, I like the way that VP, they back away. They have to give this space over to FlyQuest for now, as you see SparkChief trying to get the dive down. He's got the armor ready to go together for the reset as he gets a huge grapple in. The hook and the follow-up together from the duelist of Vision and Energy.
That's something we were talking about a little bit earlier. You can't body block the bionic hook. It will just get both. And it means that FlyQuest finally start stabilizing their positions. VIRTUS.PRO can open that space back up, however, with the Galactic Legend, and we can see FlyQuest getting ready. If the solid ultimate is the opener, they want to be able to pull back without using an ultimate to deal with it. They're just going to look to disengage around the corner, but that's why SparkR moves from top right and pushes FlyQuest back.
Hanging out right behind him, though, and trying to find the target, as Zelos has the Eternal Bond. Vision trying to pinpoint exactly where SparkR was, but it denies the Galactic Legend from having what it needs to do. As dridro backs away, the Itch Def online here, too. But FlyQuest are trying to cycle through these strategist ultimates. 5 moves up on the Daredevil, trying to take them to court. But Energy, he finds Finnsi, he hooks them in together, and with the invisible boundary, Sypeh, he gets caught off. It is SparkChief who gets the tether, who shuts it down. As VP, they get stopped here as FlyQuest finally start planting their feet on this point.
Horn of Proteus catches dridro's position. No more It's Jeff shenanigans. And VIRTUS.PRO yet again sent back. They do have let the devil out, but their time bank is also running out. And FlyQuest, they've got 2 ultimates to line up, Feast of the Abyss and the Kraken Impact. VIRTUS.PRO, they don't have the sustainability to be able to live through it. Finnsi with the Freedom Charge opens up the way. FlyQuest putting the pressure onto the backline to prevent VIRTUS from moving up at the back of it. And because they have to go with the Captain America, they were left behind. Energy on the Winter Soldier shuts it down, but somehow VIRTUS.PRO, with just 3 players, have been able to still find picks against FlyQuest.
Again, it's like the Assassins of Fi and Nevix together are just harassing your strategists for FlyQuest. Zelos and Cooper were not there to help with the sustainability for Energy and Vision, so they get taken down, and they were down in numbers. As you can already see, Nevix wrapping up behind them.
Oh, it's the box. Run from the Angela to the objective, and you go directly against the Galactic Legend, but Vez is able to peel it off. SparkR did not have the sustainability, the rest of his players fighting in another part of the map entirely, and FlyQuest have so much ultimates to be able to shut this down. It's overtime. They just need to win one more fight. Sypeh brings one back with the BRB, brings VIRTUS.PRO's chances back with the Cosmic Yacht Amplifier. Can they find the damage through the invisible boundary? Fly comes on through to let the devil out, paired with Nevix's Heavenly Retribution, and this might be hellish for FlyQuest to deal with, but it's Vision dodging the Jeffy with the shift and managing with the blessing of the deep to get the blessing of Proteus. FlyQuest hold on until now. VIRTUS.PRO portal back on through against FlyQuest, managed to find the picks with 5.
It is SparkR who says, I don't even need just Psylocke. It is just the Doctor Strange and the portal recontest as Nevix staring at the spawn room gates, trying to stop them from recontesting right at the mouth of the portal. It's the shish kebab as he tries to get the 1-2, and now the Meteor M, it collapses off to the side of the payload. It doesn't find the mark that it needs as VP are still finding these picks off of FlyQuest. It is up to Energy to see if he can get the reset here, but with a BRB from Sypeh, it is too much to deal with.
Some teams, they just come alive under the pressure of overtime. And VIRTUS.PRO are one such team. Another overtime, another third point, and they continue to move on forward with Fi on this Daredevil getting so much information on where FlyQuest are going to be positioned. Vision on that Namer alone, just too vulnerable, has to swap over to the Star-Lord instead.
I see you having that info now as they try to contest down mid. See SparkR and the Eye of Agamotto, though. You know when a Doctor Strange is fishing, once he takes to the sky, though, you can see him holding forward to build up that space. Look at him from the top of the bridge. As he fishes for it, he drops down. He's found 3, despite Cooper pushing him away. And he still, with the follow-up of Nevix, gets the 3K together. And VP did only have to use that Eye of Agamotto. It wasn't expensive at all.
It was all about the angle of the drop down. So even if the force physics comes on through, his back hits, collides with the wall, and still manages the CC catch onto FlyQuest free. Out comes the Freedom Charge. Finnsi holding his position aggressively, and it forces the Eternal Bond. CC immunity to get past the body block from the Captain America. FlyQuest are through, but do they have the means of sustaining this fight? Heaven's Retribution yet again. Pedro Dridro's ultimate. FlyQuest dodge it. Vision looking to shut it down for the Galactic Legend. The invisible boundary is there, but FlyQuest are losing presence on the objective as Nevix stalls them out.
The Nevix Angela must be studied because the Galactic Legend was stalled out too with the shish kebab as Vez comes up. Meteor M, they've lost out on Cooper, and he doesn't find it smart. Even through the mouth of those doors, he finds SparkChief. Dridro follows up, and VP, with only losing out on Fi, they have to look at energy to stop him from trying to get the reset. But he does find Sypeh, as now SparkR comes in. Eye of Agamotto, Vision stunned, and only 2 members left from FlyQuest.
It's not enough! The interception, Finnsi with the body block charge onto FlyQuest. Doing VIRTUS.PRO to take isolated angles, get more freedom on the objective itself. Huge plays coming on through from them as FlyQuest, the writing now is on the wall. They need to finish this map out and take us to overtime if they want an opportunity to continue on in this upper bracket run. Energy's over to the Psylocke, free farming off of these Vanguards. And FlyQuest, they've already got a lot of space, but not a lot of cart presence, as it's Finnsi on the Captain America, just refusing to let it go through.
Why not here? It's been working. Don't stop now, as the BRB also has been able to really come out in clutch, but you have the team up together with the Star-Lord. The recall here, as Fly is going to be able to reposition. So good at also forcing out a lot of these cooldowns from the strategist. He falls low, he tries to get away, but Vision, he targets him, pinpoints where he's trying to exit, and together with Vez being on that Magneto, enables him into position with these bubbles.
FlyQuest getting to move around that first impossible corner, and they've done it in such a fast fashion. VIRTUS.PRO don't have anything other than the Chef Ultimate, speaking of which, Dridro is immediately going to come through with it. Do FlyQuest manage? Yes, they do. Dark teleportation comes on through from Zelos, dodges out of the grab. Energy with the dance of the butterflies, forces out the invisible boundary, but FlyQuest have the numbers to find the damage through, and VIRTUS.PRO now going to have to go over to the Doctor Strange to portal back through unless they want FlyQuest to take first.
And Dridro manages to get away, right? They try to get the stagger, but Dridro's like, all right, I dare you. But this is even better because they're expecting the portal. So now they have to recontest here on the point, and look at the ultimates that they have coming into this. SparkR with the Sia, Nevix with the Meteor M.
Cosmic Gun Amplifier is the first to come on out from VIRTUS.PRO's, and FlyQuest not matching it with anything. Now comes the Eternal Bond, and it's all about Nevix! Manages to try and find the Cloak and Dagger, but there was no Cosmic Gun Amplified damage, and the Eternal Bond will stay standing. SparkR brings the Magneto back. Finnsi with the Freedom Charge, trying to make sure that VIRTUS.PRO stay alive on this objective, as Let the Devil comes out, and FlyQuest don't have a strategist ultimate to stand up to it.
They were too busy using it earlier on, right? Zelos was clenching just to survive that Meteor M originally. It's off the table, and now VP, with this recontention, they shove back FlyQuest to the spawn room gates.
VIRTUS.PRO, though, they don't have a lot up against FlyQuest's ultimate bank that's about to come in absolutely flush. Energy with the dance of the butterflies. SparkChief going to have the Feast of the Abyss. And they've got the Meteor M to shut down Dridro's Jeff ultimate. So VIRTUS.PRO, the Vanguard players, they're just moving forward, taking a little bit of damage, trying to channel all of that into battery for SparkR's Cosmic Gun Amplifier. The Daredevil catches the Psylocke. He sees exactly where you are. They need to prevent the dance of the butterflies for just a couple moments more.
This is a team who is hungry, who is sitting at match point, looking at VP. They're looking to close this off. Look at the time bank, and it is Vision coming up together as Energy has a dance of the butterflies, but it's to force out these ultimates to see used up as well as the BRB, but with an Chef up on the high ground. Dridro trying to get contention. They try to stop him, but he finds himself off to the side as he catches Zelos with the Chef.
That's huge. Zelos not going to be there with the Eternal Bond to try and shut down Sypeh. Follow-up damage from the side of Agamotto. It's up to FlyQuest players now to manage to scout out where the range is coming from. Can Cooper get the force physics? There it is, the drop down into the Maelstrom, but FlyQuest only sacrifice the Invis woman, and they will have numbers on the card to carry on forward. We go into second, and FlyQuest continue in the upper bracket.
The sacrifice won't be for nothing. The fact that they get this checkpoint is huge. Some extra time in the time bank. Less than 3 minutes on the clock as FlyQuest, they keep rolling out here with Zelos trying to build up into that internal bond and take a look at Vision. Now you still have that verticality going into the second segment here, Moxie, where you can try to stop this Daredevil as Fi is close to letting that Devil out.
Close and has it, as too does Nevix. Have the Meteor M to absorb Visions. VIRTUS.PRO gonna go aggressive before FlyQuest get to build up their strategist ults, and that forces Galactic Legend. The best defense is a strong offense, but VIRTUS.PRO have just gone past the Star-Lord. They just walked on FlyQuest's backline, and now it's up to yet again Energy on the Psylocke. Dance of the Butterflies to be the opener for his team.
I mean, this AC backline, I'll be honest, this is something else that we're currently seeing slowly start getting banned out more often for the exact reason why you're seeing it right here. The Galactic Legend didn't get anything, because why? You're not being able to find these shots, and they're getting peeling, as Sypeh with the BRB has had so much potential together with Finnsi and the survivability of the Freedom Charge. You see SparkR flying around up on the high ground with the Galactic Legend himself. The Feast of the Abyss from SparkChief doesn't get the follow-up, despite the anti-heal. It's a dance-off as Cooper is trying to put FlyQuest into position, because time is of the essence.
Dridro last time was able to get away from Meteor M. Can he do it this time? Vez holds it, tries to find the connection and doesn't find the landing as Dridro gets away. Doesn't, I believe, get an eat onto FlyQuest players though, but it's going to be a fast reset, something that VIRTUS.PRO are not going to be allowing FlyQuest to get away with easily. They pick and they pick and they pick apart the attacker side, forcing Vision onto the Hela just to try and find an exit trade onto VIRTUS.PRO's overextension. Looks like he's going to be staying with it as we go down to 1 minute. If SparkChief can come on through with the Venom and Energy the Psylocke providing enough of a distraction for Vision to start popping up on the hit scan, this could be the way back for FlyQuest players.
And the fact that SparkR gets another Galactic Legend. He's gotten like 3 of them to start off these fights, and it's another terrorizing effect as VP, they put the numbers on the board. SparkR finds 2 back-to-back and taking away the time, trying to force out another stagger. This is not a good look for FlyQuest, representing the Americas region. VP are holding it down for EMEA.
SparkChief has to go over onto the Angela. Has the shield, has the movement speed as well to try and tap onto that objective, because we're about to go into overtime. He's got the verticality too to try and find these angles that VIRTUS.PRO have 5 posted up on Freedom Charge, forces invisible boundary on the walk-up, not fully on the objective, which means that it's all about Fi's let the devil out. FlyQuest have no way of answering it, and here it comes. Vez picks Dridro, at least no it's Jeff, manages to find Fi through the ultimate too, and the homestand hero might have done enough for FlyQuest to see this fight through.
Can it be enough though with Vision being taken out? Oh, Goddess of Death as Nevix goes up. He tries to land it point blank onto Energy, which would have been crazy, but he lets the Kraken impact unleash as Zelos gets the 3K. It's the nail in the coffin as they were all so incredibly low.
FlyQuest not out of the woods, far from out of point 2. They have to win 2 more fights in a row, and the hardest is coming up. rotated so far forward, trying to disrupt VIRTUS.PRO, getting past and onto that objective so they get as much free push as possible. But the defender spawn, Vicky, it's right there. And FlyQuest, they have to start finding these eliminations soon. Heaven's Retribution could look for a wombo combo, either the Hella or the Magneto would do. But VIRTUS.PRO get aggressive and make the first move.
And with overtime ticking away, you're lacking on time. And Vision, he wakes up, he finds two, but it's also a trade-off as VP have Sypeh and the BRB. They take over the fight. Nobody left on the point with just one member left. Sorry, Vision. No God, it's a death. As VP, they find themselves in the grand finals of the Marvel Rivals Ignite Grand Finals.
It's guaranteed an EMEA team. It's not guaranteed whether it will be a rematch on the end of FlyQuest.
I mean, ever since we became a team, we thought we would be here in the grand finals one day. And I'm just glad to finally be here with my team.
That series, because it was really all VP's angle. There wasn't really any online phase for FlyQuest. They just felt like they were shut out because right now, I mean, the ult is so good, and guess who's good at that hero? It's Bobo off the top, and then SparkR following it up. Fantastic.
Players, they are just that good. We saw the interview with them. The dives have been...
Has that background, knows where the players have been, so he has that like established situation. But I think it's also having the follow through in the draft, because it felt before like